I would say lifting weights to me is the fountain of youth.
Fountain of youth. Absolutely.
It is creating growth hormones. It's giving you better bone density. It's helping with your posture. It's helping with your confidence even.
Everything.
And if you have lifted weights one time and gotten jacked, call me.
Because right?
We should clearly trade professions because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. So whatever you did to work out one time and get jacked.
And got jacked?
Ooh, tell me your secret.
Let us know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
It does the whole HGH to where it's like the elasticity, the collagen. I mean, it goes on. It makes you look younger, feel younger.
You'll be more confident.
Oh
You'll
my
be able to
God.
wear clothes. Like, just think about it. If you're like, oh, I can wear this outfit. And it's this whole thing.
Maybe that's why I'm 90 and I still look 30. I mean,
see?
I've been lifting weights my
She's
entire
90 and
life.
she still looks 30.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Go Figure, the podcast where we cut the fluff, get real, and dive into everything fitness, health, and life. I'm Lori Fetrick, former American Gladiator Ice.
And I'm Ashley Randall, certified trainer, wellness coach, and your go-to for keeping it real about living your best life.
Here on Go Figure, we're busting myths, sharing truths, and having the conversations that make you stop and say, Go Figure.
From fitness fads to mindset shifts and everything in between, we're here for the stuff you didn't know you needed to hear.
Crushing it, stuck in a rut, or just trying to keep it together, we've been there.
So get ready to laugh, learn, and level up. This is Go Figure. Let's do this.
Welcome to Go Figure, a new podcast series here on Chillin' with Ice. This podcast is where fitness, wellness, and real talk collide. I'm your host, Lori Fetrick, along with the incredible Ashley Randall. There's little things when you're training,
sure.
Like your toes should be this way instead of this way, or you know what I'm saying? You put
For
more
sure.
emphasis on, like when he was saying on my squats, pull your toes out and really dig into the ground.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
For sure.
Squeeze your ass when you're, those little things you forget about.
You do. He asked me the other week or something. He's like, oh, back squatting. He's like, do you like your hands like that? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And I could tell, like, obviously I gave him the wrong answer.
Right.
And I was like, what? And he's like, well, because like, if your arms are wider and this and that, like you'll be able to recruit more lats and you'll be able to stand taller, which means you'll be able to squat more. And I was like, okay, I hear you mechanically, but like this like feels really safe and protected to me. You want me to now start putting heavier weight on like this? I don't know. This just feels like scary. So I'm like, yeah, it feels better to me to have everything like tight,
Mm-hmm.
So it is one of those things where like you train and you get into like your
routine, you're used to your comfort zone.
Yeah.
What feels comfortable
and then
to
they
you.
start like breaking you apart and you're like, wait, that's actually way harder than it's supposed
Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe that's why.
Like, I didn't want it to be that hard.
Exactly.
I just wanted to do my workout, not do my workout and do a whole new freaking form thing.
Right.
I'm like, gosh.
And that's what he
guy.
was talking about too. He goes, well, there's training and then there's working out.
Oh, he loves to say that.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying about that. So it was an interesting thing, but I think that I could probably get some definite things. And then I was joking. I said, well, since you fixed my squat, I said, what's with my middle ab here? It's not showing up.
Yeah.
Kind
like,
of
well,
thing.
I'm here.
Right. And he goes, well, come here, let me show you something. And he goes, this all is within squats as well.
Of course.
Okay.
How convenient.
Right. So he goes, just stand there for a minute. He comes up behind me and he puts his arm around my waist. And he goes, okay, now I want you to brace yourself and really like bear down.
Yeah.
He goes, now see when you bear down, your abs go out and they're pushing. He goes, you're not sucking in. And I'm thinking in my head going, I really never kind of suck in anyway, but okay. I'm not quite sure if this is going to make my middle ab come out.
Yeah. You're like, well, I don't know. Am I doing it right?
Right. Should I be bearing down?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was kind of funny too. But no, he's a great trainer.
Yeah.
He's a great trainer.
He
There's
definitely
no doubt.
knows what he's doing. I know sometimes there's some people in there that I'm like, we gotta like get a little bit more like action on them. He's like, listen, there's some people that just want to come in here and check the box. And he's like, I'm fine with that. And I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, I know how that is. Like, there are people like that, but there's also, I'm like, push her more.
Push her harder.
Make her work harder.
Yeah. Like
Make
push
her work
harder.
harder. Yeah.
Which brings us into today. Let's do some muscle building myths.
Oh, muscle building myths.
Or
Okay.
just muscle myths.
Okay.
Just myths.
Okay.
in
Just
general.
myths.
If you think about it, strength training and everything that we do has really shifted and come a long way,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
To where 10 years ago, a lot of women were not even picking up weights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe, is it because we live in Cali or, you came from Colorado, still very active outdoors. And also we're in that algorithm
True.
in our
True.
social. So that's all we see. So I automatically think every woman across America is lifting weights because it's in my algorithm and that's
Right.
all I see on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, look, every woman is.
Everyone's getting jacked.
But then I realized when I go out and sign autographs at Comic-Cons to where I'm in the Midwest and I'm meeting like normal people, I'm like,
Right.
holy shit, they don't.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
actually don't lift weights. They
Right.
actually don't. They might train a little bit. They might do Pilates
Yeah. Or do like a workout class, like a boot
Yoga.
camp. Yeah, you're like, okay. Yeah, it's true.
but they don't actually lift.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't. Is it because we're here in Cali and outdoors? Like you came from Colorado, that was still
mean,
outdoors.
I
Not
think it's, I mean, definitely, I think for sure. I mean, California is a very like aesthetically pleasing place. Like the weather, you know, but I do think other places like Miami, you know, Florida, I think like Arizona.
Sunny.
Yeah, exactly. Sunny places. Colorado, when I was there, I said that I think more people are actually genuinely fit in Colorado than here. But here, I think we're more aesthetically pleasing. So I think if you lined
That's
up like
interesting.
50 people, men and women here, you'd probably find more of them look really good. But in Colorado, I think you would find more of them are actually fit. Like can actually go out and shovel their driveway, you know, can do hikes at, you know,
True.
14,000 feet. You know, they're really truly fit, but they're not like, oh, does my butt look good? Oh, how do my pecs look? They're like,
Yeah.
no, I shoveled my driveway. I glued that, you know, and I'm like, damn, dude, like you're 50, 60 years old out here. Just you know,
I heard
living
that's no
life.
joke. I
Dude.
heard shoveling snow is absolutely no joke.
There was a couple times that I shoveled my driveway and I was like, this broke my back. I mean, it felt like I had like max rep deadlifted for like 2 hours. The next day I'm like, oh, I was like, whoa. Okay, I definitely, yeah. So, so if you're out there shoveling your driveway, it doesn't matter what age you are, I think, like, props to you. People in California, they're
Yeah.
not doing that.
No, but you're right about shoveling snow, the hikes, the
Yeah.
altitudes. Way more. I don't know. I think they're way more outdoorsy. They're riding
more.
their bikes and
All
they're,
the time.
you know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. But, you know, let's talk about that because more women really do need to start lifting weights.
Oh, 100%.
Because of so many, you know, so many benefits to it.
Yeah.
But there's so many myths out there.
There are cajillion. Yeah. Okay. So tell me some of these myths. I want to hear
All
them.
right, let's see. Let's
That I mean, I probably know, you know, a lot
you
of
know
them.
all
but like,
of them.
what are the?
You know
what are
all
the
of them, but a
ones-
lot of, you know, people
I guess
out
what's
there
crazy
listening.
to me is that it's that there's still myths. Like there's been so much, again, to your point though, about the algorithm, about like the information. I think there's been so much of it debunked that I'm like,
Yeah.
how are you? I mean, literally, I'll have a person come to me and be like, well, I don't want to get big and bulky. Well, I don't want to get this. And I'm like, lady, and sometimes men, do you like it's almost, and I can even like use you as an example, it's almost like an insult to think that you're going to get big and bulky. Like, do you know how much you have to work to do that? Like for you, when you're training for Gladiator, like you're lifting weights, you're putting your body through this, you're eating a ton of food, all of these things to just to like hold on to the muscle, to hold on to the physique. And then these people, you know, we'll call them the myth believers. They're like, wait, I don't want to lift too heavy. Like I might get jacked. I might get too bulky. I'm like,
Oh, I wish it was
do you
that
know
easy.
how much? Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
wish it was that easy.
I wish you would go in and pick up some dumbbells and have a little more extra rice on your plate and all of a sudden be
Yes.
jacked. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 15 years and I feel like I'm, you know, like holding on to my physique by a thread. And that is with making sure I'm eating enough food, making sure I'm constantly progressively lifting heavier, you know? So like
Right.
for you to think that you're just going to do a couple bicep curls and all of a sudden you're like, oh, my sleeves don't fit. Like, well, lucky you, because you just cheat coded 15 years of what some people have worked really,
Exactly.
really hard for.
Oh
Like,
my God. Yes, you're
Crazy.
absolutely right. And okay, so and on that note, okay, the first thing obviously is strength training will make women bulky.
Right.
Just exactly what you were
Yes.
saying. It's mind blowing.
blows my mind.
Or they think they're gonna get masculine.
Yes.
That's the other thing. Like all of
Right.
a sudden they're gonna,
I don't want to
become
turn out
He-Man.
like that. Yeah. I had one lady tell me once, I just want to have like a flat stomach, but I don't want to have like my abs showing. And I
That's
was
very
like,
specific.
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like what everybody's different. Everybody's body parts are different. I have a girlfriend who has insane quads, not necessarily jacked, but just it doesn't really matter if she could lift weights, not really lift weights. She always has great quad definition. if you asked her, other things, I'm sure she would pick a million things apart on her body. Oh, she wishes she had, a leaner stomach. She wishes she had more defined shoulders. She wishes she this. But that's just genetically like where she
Yeah.
leans out really quick.
Right.
Same thing with me. Like
We all
same but
wish.
opposite. But like I lean out really quick in the top. I don't carry a lot of fat up there at all. I have a super small chest. I don't carry a lot of fat at all in my upper body. So sometimes when I do start to lose weight, I'm like, cool, I'm losing weight, but it takes a long time to see like major definition in my legs.
I was just going to ask you, have you ever dieted down so far that you actually see like
No.
maybe some striations in your quads?
No.
Really?
I haven't. I don't know if I even like would have the discipline
You
to
would.
do it.
You
I would be
would.
like, oh, I just want to have a snack.
No, you would. If you had a serious goal at the end of it,
That's
let's say,
probably true.
you would totally have the
Yeah.
discipline to do it.
But I never have. I've never but even like when I was younger, and I'm talking like early teenage, I've always held a little bit more of my weight in my butt and in my legs.
Well, that's normal genetics for women.
right.
If you really think about it, that is
True.
how we're supposed to be built. We're
That's
supposed to
true.
be carrying babies.
Yeah.
So therefore, God, you
That's
have very
true.
small hips like I do.
Yes.
But most women have pretty good size hips. Childbearing hips is what I call them.
Okay, this is terrible to say, but there was a girlfriend of mine in high school, and I used to call her that. Like that was like her. I mean, not to her face, God,
Yeah.
but like, she and I won't say her name, but she had like wider hips, and I would
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, well, blah 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 has like childbearing hips, like blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, I was like, damn, like that girl, like a baby is just gonna fall right out of
Right?
her.
No,
Catty little
it's
high
funny.
school kid.
No, because April's the same way. My girlfriend, she has like, I used to tease her as well. Tease her bad.
Really?
Like childbearing hips. Dude, your hips are fucking huge. But this is what we did. And I say we, okay,
Okay.
because I helped her along this journey. She actually her shoulders were a little narrow as well.
Okay.
So when your shoulders are narrow and your hips are wide, it makes your hips look wider.
Right.
So I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in the gym, and she followed my lead.
Yeah.
We got her back actually a little bit wider. We put some caps on her shoulders. And what it did is it gave the illusion of her hips being a little smaller now because her upper body got a little bit
Right.
wider.
Right.
So it was all about
I
playing with
love
the
that.
illusion of you
Yes.
can create any kind of body you want to create.
That's actually a great point to the myth thing, that I don't want to get big, because that I think is the quickest way to like shape shift if you want your body. A lot of men do that. It's like, okay, if they can't get, their legs to be as big as they want, or, vice versa, their pecs or their shoulders, it's like, okay, well, if you make something else look a little bit bigger, then if you've got these really big wide shoulders, okay, then maybe you do have a more boxy torso.
Yeah.
But if you've got strong shoulders as a man, well, then it looks like that V taper comes in a little bit more. Your lats are a little bit bigger. Everything kind of slides in. Again, not that women want to be jacked, but yes, if you do have some nice definition to your shoulders, if you have a little bit of definition to your biceps and your triceps, then it's going to make, your rib cage look a little bit more narrow, like your hip, like all of those
That's
things.
what's so cool about our bodies. We can create anything we want to
Yeah,
create,
for
which is
sure.
awesome. And it's by lifting weights.
Yes.
And okay, so
And it's not on the first time.
exactly.
If it was, I would have zero profession.
All
I would
right,
be
here
like,
you go,
wow.
Ashley. Here's a good one.
Okay.
Women should lift lighter weights with higher reps. Well, it goes right back to that. I want to lift heavy because I don't want to get big. So we're some
Right.
trainer, okay,
Yeah.
many years ago went, okay, well, we're just going to use like 5-pound dumbbells
Yeah.
and you're going to crank out 25 reps.
Correct. You'll do 3 sets of 15 to 25, and you're like, what?
Yeah. So let's debunk that.
Okay.
There's a time and a place, correct?
Yeah, I agree.
For high reps and low weights,
For sure.
but not all the time
No.
at all whatsoever. You're just spinning your wheels. What
Correct.
I feel like you're doing nothing.
Well, what happens too is that it starts to feel hard
Mm-hmm.
because you just have an insane amount of blood flow there. So you're not really breaking down the muscle, which is what you want to do when you're trying to build a muscle. It's like, okay, you want to break it down, stress it, break it down enough that then it has to come back and repair, and hopefully it comes back just like a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger every time. But if all you're doing is just getting a pump per se, which is
Literally.
kind of what you just described, the 5 pounds with the, or even 15, anything that, in my opinion, that you can do comfortably
20
15
reps?
to 25
Yeah.
reps of is way too light.
There's no load on the muscle.
And so if you're just like this, and then you're like, well, yeah, well, of course, after a while, I mean, if you went like this, for
You're tired
100
after a
times-
while. Your fingers get
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, of course you're gonna be like, whoa, my biceps so tired. Like,
Yeah.
well, is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that myth it's hard, and that's actually one of the ones that I have the hardest time getting over with women. I
Yeah.
think a lot of women are realizing they need to lift heavier,
Yeah.
but then this, like, they think they still need to also, if I tell them, oh, you should be able to do, like, let's just say sometimes 3 to 5, they're like, 3 to 5. It's almost like they don't even know what weight to pick up that would be hard in the 3 to 5 rep range.
Because again, they have this little voice in the back of their head going, don't lift too heavy because you're going to get big.
Right.
Keep it light, keep it,
Right.
to where it's more reps. You're going to get that tone look.
Yes.
When in fact, no, you're not going to get that tone look by doing high reps,
Right.
low weight. Less weight, high reps.
Yeah.
You've got to put that load on the muscle
Yes.
in order to get that. You're absolutely right. Because it doesn't work the other way.
And going to what you had said too, it can sometimes then backfire to where now you're just spiking your cortisol. Now you're just causing more inflammation because rather than doing, again, we'll just go with my example of like 5 sets of 5 reps,
Right.
where you're only doing 25 total reps in that set. Now you're doing 75 reps because you're doing 3 sets of 25, and it's like, wait, what? And so then you're just causing all this stress on your body. You're causing all of this like inflammation. And then people wonder like, oh, well, I go to my boot camp class and I do this and I do that. And it's like, well, you just look puffy and swollen. And that is why some women think that they look jacked or they look big because they're like, oh, I started working out and like, my legs swelled up or my arms. I'm like, correct. Because you just put a bunch of blood and water that went there, not muscle growth.
Right.
It was just trauma, and now it's like swollen. It's like, we got to give it some time.
Because that's what our bodies do. Our
Right.
bodies go to the area they think that possibly is injured.
Yep.
And the inflammation, the water goes there, everything, because yes, it wants to heal,
Right.
but give it a day or two.
Right.
Let it settle down, and you're going to go right back to what you looked like right
Ladies,
before.
calm down. It's
Yeah.
going to be okay.
So put some weight on the bar or
Yeah.
grab some heavier dumbbells to where, okay, so maybe it's not 3 to 5, maybe it's 6 to 8, 8 to 10.
Yes.
But the 15, every single set, that some of these trainers are out there literally doing this with some women. Not a good thing, people. Not a
And
good
a lot of
thing.
times too, if you work out with a trainer and they kind of like gatekeep, that's one thing that I don't love is when they almost make you feel like you need them. Like they pick the weight for you. Here, here's a 15, here's a this. Like you should be like, take some ownership of your workouts.
You know how many women don't want to take ownership? That's the problem. They just want to
Yeah,
pay
that's true.
someone,
That's true.
not think about it, and come in. I had a client like that literally for 5 years. She told me flat out, she goes, I know what I'm doing in here. She goes, however, I would not show up if I didn't pay you.
I mean, that I get. I guess that I get as far as the commitment.
But they should be like, when I have my clients, my whole thing was, let me train you for a month.
Yeah.
And you should be good to go on your own. Of course, I like the nice personal training paycheck. However, I'm not doing you any justice whatsoever
Right.
if I'm not telling you what they call the secrets.
Right.
To where they think every personal trainer keeps all the secrets together.
Yes.
We're not keeping the secrets.
No.
You're not listening. You're really just not listening.
I had the clients that you tell them, okay, we're going to go do, I won't say Bulgarians because those can be tricky, but like, a reverse lunge. And sometimes, what was that again? And I'm like, okay, again, like, yeah, you got to pay a little bit of attention. You got to take, I get wanting to kind of check out and have the person guide you. Totally get that. But I think that it gives you a more sense of like freedom. It gives you a little bit more empowerment.
Oh, absolutely. You should be able to walk in the gym. If your trainer's not available that week, you should be able to go in the gym by yourself and do your workout.
For sure.
There's no doubt.
Right.
And you know how many don't go?
Right. They're just, oh, I'm on vacation. I don't know what to do.
Right.
I don't know this. I'm like,
right. You got to take
just
ownership.
pick 3 things and just do it.
Okay. And on that note of lunges, here's another one. Women should avoid, which
Oh boy, I
is
can't
weird.
wait to hear
Women
this.
should avoid squats and deadlifts.
Wait, that really says that?
Yes. There are women out there that will not squat and do deadlifts, especially deadlifts. That's a powerlifting move, and they don't understand why it's important. And they also don't understand why free squats are important, and every single woman goes on a machine. They're afraid, yes, they're
don't even know what
afraid
to
to
say.
do squats by themselves, which I
What?
can understand, okay, if you're going to go heavy. I get it, but yet when you're doing free squats,
Yeah.
start with the bar.
Correct.
Get your form down, just like we were talking about before.
Yes.
Get your form down, feel the movement, feel everything about it. And if you don't know how to do a free squat, then yes, have a personal trainer.
Right.
Watch YouTube videos. There's a shit ton out there
Yes.
for that. But squats to me are literally the most essential compound movement
1,000%.
out of every exercise out
Yes.
there. It's going to do everything for your body.
Yes. That honestly, I don't know if I knew that myth. That is insane to me because both of those movements could not be more functional movements. Like, I mean, I always have had this argument with people, and we're kind of going between men and women, but like, I don't think bench press is a functional movement at all. It's more of like, yeah, okay,
Unless
it's
you
good.
need somebody off you.
Yeah. But like, how many times are you just like laying on the floor and you're like, I need to get this 200-pound person off of me? Now, like a shoulder press or something where maybe you're taking something off and you need to have this, strength to
Yeah.
bring it down, squats, deadlifts, but those are literal, especially for women.
Yeah.
Like you're bending over, you're picking up a baby out of a crib, you're bathing a baby or a kid in
But
the
they don't
bath.
equate that to an actual exercise
know.
workout. That's
But
the problem.
Exactly, that is the problem. Because
Yeah.
that to me is the epitome of functional fitness.
Yes.
Is it's like, so you don't think every time you crouch down on the floor to like talk to your kid and stand back up, you're not doing a squat? You don't think every time you're carrying groceries in, you're not doing a farmer's carry? You don't think that every time you're, again, bending over, you're not using your posterior chain?
Correct.
So if it was strong from your deadlift, like, what?
I
That's
know.
crazy
I
to
know.
me
I know. But
that they would
just
tell women not to do
don't
that.
equate that with everyday life. They think, okay, well, like you said, bending over, picking up groceries, doing farmer carries, all these different exercises that we do in the gym
Right.
that are functional fitness.
Literally.
They just don't get it.
I mean,
Again.
squatting is like one of the best. I mean, again, not a doctor, but squatting is like one of the best things that I have had. Like a lot of my pregnant clients do because you're literally mimicking that as you're
Yes,
giving
you
childbirth.
are.
Like your feet are most likely in stirrups and you're in this bearing down position, flexing your core,
Yes.
driving everything. So that's crazy to me that they would tell you not to do that. And it's like, wait, what? That
know.
is like, ladies, deadlift and squat.
Cardio
please.
is the best way to lose weight, not strength training. Yes.
I almost went into an ad. I almost like went
I
into
know, right?
Oh, I
Stop
almost was
doing
gonna read
hours
an
on the
ad.
cardio.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still there. I mean, again, that goes back to yes, we're in Cali. Yes, we're
Right.
outdoors. But let's go to the Middle West.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Midwest.
Yeah.
Let's go to where they're not outdoors all the time, to where they don't have, the California people, the Miamis. They just don't know. And yet our ads are not getting to them. Or they're ignoring them. One of the two.
We need to send more.
Exactly. They're ignoring the ads. And all
gosh.
they're doing is doing cardio work to lose that weight. And I'm going to, on the second one here, I'm just going to flip right into that one is, I don't want to start strength training until I lose 20 pounds.
I have heard that one. That one, I'm not going to say I agree with, but I guess of all of them, I kind of understand that the most. I could understand that like if you're 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, maybe doing a squat, is uncomfortable. Or
I get the
maybe you're like,
uncomfortableness.
okay, I can't even lunge right now because like I've got to get some of this weight off. Or I can't even do push-ups. I can't even pick myself up off the ground. Okay, I kind of could get on that plane. But
there's so many other exercises they can actually do.
Correct.
Because building the muscle and getting that tone,
Yeah.
it is going to eat away the body fat more,
sure.
as we all know.
For sure.
Your metabolism, your resting heart rate, everything is just going to be that much better.
Yeah.
But yet they still want to lose that weight and do hours on the cardio and then starve themselves before they get in the gym to do any kind of strength training.
Yeah. The cardio thing too, I think got a huge craze when like Orange Theories and various boot camps and like F45s even, when it was like, check your watch, how many calories have you burned? Because of course, like if you do an hour of cardio, for some people, you might burn more calories than you do strength training in the moment, especially like even for myself. If I'm doing like an upper body workout, I don't burn that many calories in the moment because I'm not.
But like you said, it's in the moment.
Correct. I might leave and be like, oh, okay, like 350 calories, whatever. I'm making that up. But then I might be like, oh, So let's say I went for a run for an hour. Well, first of all, that'd be really hard for me because I don't run a lot.
Right.
So I would burn way more than 350
Right.
calories. But the thing that people don't realize is that after the end of that run, that's when it stops. As soon as your heart rate is recovered, there wasn't enough taxation on your muscles to keep that caloric burn going.
Correct.
So your body is just like, whew, okay, I did 100 burpees. My heart rate was up really high. Now I'm recovered.
Yep.
Well, when you strain your muscles, when you do your pull-ups, your push-ups, your bicep curls, whatever, it might not be as hard in the moment, but all day now.
You're burning all
Exactly.
day long.
Your body's like,
Yeah.
wait, I have to repair this. I have to repair this. So it's like doing all this work while you're just sitting at your computer or sleeping or whatever.
Okay, so it's kind of like going back to the whole, HIIT training as well.
Yeah.
Okay, an hour of cardio? No.
Right.
30 minutes of HIIT training to where your heart rate goes up, it drops at rest. Heart rate goes up, it drops at rest. The rest of the day, you're burning, and it also hit your HGH, your human growth hormone level, to actually increase and activate that.
Right.
And we all want that
is
HGH to like
Yes.
activate because it starts dying out
It's like the fountain of
at
youth.
30.
I know.
You know,
I
so
know.
we're all chasing that our whole life to get that activated at somehow, some way.
Yes.
HIIT training is awesome for that.
Yeah, it
and
is.
you know, but then again, it's all about, it is the strength training with the HIIT training.
Right. Yeah,
know,
I'm going
so
to be a
it's-
stickler on the HIIT training, I want to say, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, especially with F45, like, oh, I did, F45, I do HIIT training. But like true HIIT training is high intensity interval training. I mean, high intensity, meaning for
Right.
those 20 or 30 seconds, you are like at max heart rate and then you recover so that you can then do it again.
But here's my question on
Versus,
your recover,
I just
though.
kind of had a hard 30 minutes where I did a little bit and I rested and you got to be like, whoa, that shit was like, I almost can't do it.
Correct.
And then you rest 2 minutes maybe.
I was just going to ask you about your recovery because some people only let people recover 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. They're like, that's all you get.
Right.
Well, yes, the more you are actually in shape, your endurance gets up, you're going to recover that much quicker.
Yeah.
Your first week, you're dying.
You're dying.
You are not going to
Oh my
recover in
gosh.
45 seconds to
No.
do another set.
To do another set as hard as
Yes,
you need to do
exactly.
it. Yes, that's the key, is that you could probably do another set, but you might have been at 80% capacity and
Your
now
intensity
your
is
second
not gonna
set,
be
you're
100%.
going to 60. And then
Right.
and the next thing you know, you're now just kind of at a steady state challenge.
Right.
And you're not doing intervals anymore.
And when I had a coach doing my HIIT training, we were still, the lifting was not light.
Yeah.
Okay. The lifting was still heavy. We were doing more compound movements. I mean, she'd have me doing different things together. I'm like, seriously?
But it's effective.
Yes, it was completely effective.
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing lunges and squats and everything else together to where it's like, the compound movements. Then I rest. My first week, I died. I mean, I was just like, leaning over, catching my breath, going, I thought I was in shape.
Right.
But, I got in shape like that. Oh my God, my body changed
When
so
you do
quickly.
it, when you do it right, it can be really, really effective.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then the whole day was burning.
Yes.
Whole day.
And
I was
you'll
burning.
notice too, like you'll be more hungry. Like that is your sign that your metabolism's refiring. Like that's, a lot of things like I think so many people, back to what you had even said, like about the Midwest, I think so many people are disconnected with their bodies in general.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't even know that, oh, wow, like I'm a little bit more hungry today. Okay, that's a good sign. Or the opposite. No, I'm never hungry in the morning. If you wake up and you're not hungry in the morning, that's an issue.
Your cortisol levels are jacked.
Correct. Your
Yeah.
cortisol's up, your metabolism is down, which means you're not feeding muscle because we already talked about this. Like fat requires nothing. It doesn't need blood, water, food, any of that. It just sits there.
Not only that, have you noticed the people, when you do eat a lot of fat, you're not hungry longer? Because of that fat will keep you in that state to where it's like, if you eat let's go Big Mac. You eat a Big Mac at noon, you're not going to be hungry usually until 6 o'clock that night. You got 6 hours to where if you're eating super clean and healthy and you're eating the portions you should be eating, you're going to be hungry in 3 hours.
For sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because
it's
your
true.
metabolism is firing.
It can use that.
Yes.
And a lot of fat slows down your digestive process.
Yes.
So to your point, let's say you have a Big Mac or a fatty meal at lunch. Well, then you're like, oh, now your body's not even really able to digest it. And then you add on to the fact that now you might be skipping dinner because you're like, oh, I'm not really that hungry.
Right.
It's just the whole thing, you know. And
Everything. I know.
some people
It
might
is.
say, oh, that's good. I don't want to eat a lot of food. It's like, well, no, that's the whole, like, we got to we have to debunk the fact that people think, oh, it's good. I don't want, like, I think people still think that not eating is the key.
Oh, I
Eating
know.
less is the key. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You not being hungry is not the key to you losing weight, because if it was, you would be losing the weight.
Okay. So
Hello. Like,
I came back from Vegas and I said, okay, I have 30 days to the next shoot. I'm
Yeah.
going to change up some shit.
yeah,
I'm going to start really meal prepping.
right.
And ever since I started meal prepping, okay, I'll be honest, it's only been 4 days. But in those 4 days, I have noticed my body shift so fast. I am now hungry again every 3 hours again, every 3 to 4 hours. I looked at myself last night. My body feels fuller.
Right? Isn't that nice?
And it's just like, oh my God, you know? I laugh at myself. Okay, I do, because of the fact that you do so many things for so many years
For sure.
that you just sometimes, it's not that you forget, it's just that you need to be reminded. Let's put it that way. You're like, oh, okay. And then you do get lazy on certain things. I got lazy on meal prepping. You know, I got to be honest. And then all of a sudden it's like, I look down and my arms, I was just like, last night, I was like, holy shit, they're so full.
Yeah.
This is so amazing. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
Right.
This is what I was looking for. And all along, I just needed to eat more.
Yes. Eat more.
And most people don't get that. They're like, I don't eat all day.
yeah, I know.
Strength training is only for young women, it says here. Strength training is only for young women.
Wrong.
Because when you're older, you can't. You shouldn't.
Wrong.
That's a myth.
Such a myth. And you can start at any time. I think that's another
Any
thing.
age.
Is it doesn't matter if you're 40, it doesn't matter if you're 50. Obviously, you have to do it smart. But if you're 50 years old and you're like, you know what? You're right. It was never my generation. I did never learn this. You could still, like you said, get a trainer, have them kind of break you down with a couple things. Maybe you check in with them once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, but you can. And you don't have to be lifting 200 pounds, but you can,
Right.
in my opinion, like,
And
you
I'm
should
going to
be
say
able
this
to-
on your part right here.
Yeah.
Because I don't do online training. But all these people out there that go, oh, I need a trainer, like in person. No.
No.
You're an online trainer. All they have to do is reach out to you
Yes.
and boom, here's your program.
Yes.
And you can follow it.
Correct.
So everybody out there that has the excuse, I don't know where to get a personal trainer. There are so many online, and
many.
we're sitting here right now, and there's an expert online trainer that it's like you can reach out to her. She could write you up a program. It's a no-brainer. You just go and you just follow the program
Yeah.
and go in and do it.
And thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
You're
But
welcome.
I also think that, like, that's a really good thing to remember for maybe, let's say someone is in the Midwest. We keep using that. But maybe you don't feel like you can find the person you want where you live in person. That's what's so great about online training.
That's
is
my
like,
point. Yeah.
hey, I mean, I used to work with a coach before that did my nutrition just to keep me in check. Never met the person.
Right.
Didn't need to meet them. They didn't even live in my state. But like, I knew that they knew what they were doing. And
Right.
so I knew, to your point about the meal prepping, I knew, okay, I know how to feed myself. I know how to do this. But if I want to like take it to the next level, I need someone that's just going to kind of be nitpicky about me. Hey, Ashley, like, you didn't have enough here. Or, well, I saw that you had a little bit too much here. You should have,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, it can be online. And
Yeah.
like, I have clients that will send me videos of themselves. Hey, here's me squatting. Cool. Let me give you a couple cues. And like, it doesn't have to be in person.
Right now, since everything is online, it's that much more convenient. And to be honest with you, there is no more excuses.
There's no more.
There really isn't.
There's no more.
So yeah, it's not a young
No.
women's game,
not.
a young men's game, but to your point, 40, 50, 60, you can pick up a weight at any time and start
Anytime.
training.
Correct.
Because your body doesn't know age. I mean,
Right.
it knows age when it comes to your joints, don't get me wrong. However, it doesn't know like, oh, you're 50, yeah, we're done building muscle.
Right.
It's not,
Yes.
it doesn't work
No.
like that.
When you start to reactivate that, then
Yeah.
your body can. And I gave this example to a woman yesterday. I think you were at the gym, but she was telling me she's like 61, I think
Three.
she said. But I gave her the analogy of like an hourglass.
Right.
And I was like, listen, it's going to come out. The sand is coming out of the hourglass. That's inevitable. You can't stop that. We are all aging. But if you're pouring sand back in the top of that hourglass, the demarcation is going to be that much less obvious.
Right.
So instead of it just waiting and we're just waiting and waiting and we're like, oh shit, now we're 60, now we're 70. Oh shit, now it's
Maybe it's too late.
gone.
Maybe it's too late.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, okay, I'm 40, I'm 50. Hey, it's still going, but I'm going to pour back in
Yes.
and try to at least slow it down.
Right.
At least try and help my posture. At least try and help, whatever your issue is.
Right.
So, yeah, it's definitely not a like
It's not. It's for any
I want
age.
to know who started these rumors? Like who
All it
got
takes
these
is
out there into the world?
it's amazing. It only takes one person. And actually, I want to answer a question that one of my Patreons, Fred, yes, this is your question. And that is, he goes, do I have to train all the time to failure?
Ooh, okay.
And I told him my personal thing is, no, you don't need to train to failure
Yeah.
every single time. Sometimes that could lead to overtraining.
Correct.
That could lead to too much stress on your body.
Yeah.
You gotta let it relax. So I told him, I said, look, if you want to train to failure, have it be like, to where you are mixing up your workouts. Because I'm a big advocate of your body gets used to shit. Your
Yeah.
body gets used to the same reps, the same workout, the same
Yeah.
everything. It just gets used to it. And it's not that it doesn't respond, but it's not going to respond like it should be if you're changing up your workouts, changing up your weights. So maybe you do like, we were talking about high reps, but we're not talking high reps, 5 sets of 25. So maybe you do workouts, maybe it's a little bit high rep, and then you go a little lower rep, and then maybe you'd go to failure one workout. So it's like mixing it up and keeping your body confused,
Right.
So what is your take on that?
I think I would definitely agree with that. I think one thing I will just say is I think sometimes people think mixing it up, they think doing a bunch of different things.
Right.
That is not what Lori's talking
No,
about.
that's not what I'm saying.
What we're not saying is like one day I did, F45 and then I did Pilates and then I did CrossFit
that's
and then I
not.
went
Thank
for a
you
run.
for- yeah,
Because
no.
like then you're never going to see results in any of those. But yes, to your point, it's like, okay, hey, today we're going to, pre-exhaust our legs and we're going to do really high volume and blah, blah, blah. Then we might only do 3 sets of squats for 3 reps.
Yes.
And it's going to be really heavy.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily to failure.
Right.
It's just a different way, like hypertrophy, a different way of stressing your muscle. And then again, we might say, okay, we want to, maybe we're having a little shoulder issue. Okay, so we want to get a little bit more blood in there today rather than just like destroy your muscles.
Right.
Also, on some of the things, if you don't have the strength, going to failure isn't always the best move.
No, you're
If
going to
trying
actually
to-
hurt the muscle if
Right.
that's the case.
If you're trying
yes.
to build strength, going to failure on a shoulder press,
Right.
it's like, okay, well, that could actually injure you. So let's do some other things, blah, blah, blah. But I do think that, yeah, it's important to keep your body guessing. I will say another thing that people get bored with, I see, is a lot of the same movements. People want to do like
Yes.
25 different exercises for your ass and like 25 different, forms of sit-ups. I'm like,
Yes.
no, you're only going to get better and stronger at something if you keep doing it. I can't tell you how many weeks in a row I was doing Bulgarian split squats probably twice a week, doing hip thrusts twice a week.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, there are days where you're like, oh,
There we go
there's
again.
today. But then you look and you're like, well, clearly it's working
Yes. Yeah.
because I'm getting stronger. I can match the progress. I can this instead of, well, I haven't hip thrust for a month because I started doing this and then I started doing lunges, but then I started
Right.
doing squats and then I deadlifted. It's like,
When I worked out and I was actually changing, what I would do is like, for instance, like, yes, let's take squats. You can take a full squat. You can do a front squat.
yeah.
I mean, there's different, you can get on a machine squat. I mean, there's so many different types of squats, that
Yeah.
you can actually do. So I'm very big on, I'll have like a 4-week program. Okay. And I will do the same exercises,
Yeah.
but then after that 4 weeks, then is when I switch it up, and then I'll
Right.
go to another 4 weeks. But that was a good point to where you go, don't do F45 and then go and do Pilates and then do strength training. That's not what I mean by mixing it up, but absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So I think we have time for one
Oh
more.
gosh. Okay. Tell me one more crazy one.
Women should avoid lifting weights during their period.
Oh gosh. We don't have enough time for this. We should do a whole episode on
We
this.
actually should.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do an episode on
Yeah.
that one because of the fact that is, I mean,
That's a really hot topic right now. People
It
are like
is.
cycle syncing and like this
Yes.
and eating and train. Yeah. We should do a whole episode on that.
maybe we get Bria in here.
Okay.
We get
Yeah,
Bria in here
because
and we do that.
I think that there is a lot of science and research done on it. And then I think this will be my little hot take. I think there's also a lot of, and I will be the first to admit, thank you, Jesus. I have very easy periods. I don't have crazy
Like, what does Jesus
PMS.
have to do with your periods?
So
Jeff is even laughing on that one.
I'm like, thank you. Well, I don't know. Like, thank you,
period
Creator.
gods.
Yeah, thank you, Creator. So, like, I don't have crazy PMS. I do
Yeah.
know some people that are, like, debilitated. They're
Absolutely.
on the floor
They
and they're
can't
wallowing.
move. Of course, you can't go out and train when you're like that. I
Correct.
get that. Your body is under stress. Your
Right.
body is going through a moment to where it's cleansing, and you need to give it that
Yes.
the relaxation that it needs.
But if you're just like, oh, I'm kind of having some cramps today, or like, I'm on my period, like, I'm a little tired. Like,
so what you're saying is don't use it as an excuse.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I
And
think
a
you
lot of
got to,
people-
again, going back to like knowing your body, checking in with yourself. Yeah. If you're, going through multiple pads or tampons a day and it's like, hey, maybe we
Right.
don't need to do this,
Right.
but maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you still move. Maybe you still get some of those endorphins going.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your body is more primed up for that. But yeah, we should definitely go into this because there's a lot of research
There's
that
a lot.
I mean, there's some athletes that want to be on their cycle when they are competing because their testosterone is higher, so it gives them that little bit of
That
an
little
edge.
edge.
Where
Exactly.
unlike men that are just, they're on a 24-hour cycle, so like they don't get to have that peak like we do. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
All right. So summary of the whole thing is women, you can lift weights.
Yes.
Start lifting weights. You're not going to get big and bulky. I don't know how many times we have to say this, but we'll say it and say it and say it and say it and say it until you actually hear us saying it. You need to lift weights. It's longevity, anti-aging. Oh my God.
Bone
There's
density, all
so
of those
many
things.
studies coming out now to where it's like the lifting weights, I mean, anti-aging because of cellular growth and this and that. And it's just, okay, well, maybe that's why I'm 90 and I still look 30. I mean...
See?
I've been lifting weights my
She's
entire
90
life.
and she still looks 30. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, it is it's literally, if I were to tell somebody, I would say lifting weights to me is the fountain of youth.
Fountain of youth. Absolutely.
It is like all the things you said, it's creating growth hormones. It's giving you better bone density. It's helping with your posture. It's helping with your confidence even,
Everything.
It's all of these things. And so if you are thinking, and if you have lifted weights one time and gotten jacked, call me. Because
right?
we should clearly trade professions because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. So whatever you did to work out one time and get jacked.
And got jacked, please
tell me your
let us,
secret
let us
because
know.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. It is. I like that. It is a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
It does the whole HGH to where it's like the elasticity, the collagen. I mean, it goes on. It makes you look younger, feel younger, vibrant, the energy you have. Everything. So you don't
Sex
have
life
those
will go
days.
up. You'll be more confident. You'll
my
be able to wear
God.
clothes. Like, just think about it. If you're like, oh, I can wear this outfit, and like, it's
Yeah.
this whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a woman years
And it's just
ago-
from lifting weights?
Correct. She went in and got a promotion because she started losing weight. She started feeling better. She had better like all of these little
Everything.
trickle effects. And then she like ended up getting a promotion because she was like, I finally threw my hat, and I was like, good for you.
Yep.
So like, yeah, don't think that lifting weights.
No.
The worst thing that's gonna happen is you get jacked. If that's the worst thing that happens, sign me up. As long as you do it smart and responsibly.
I would say on that note, we can close it out.
Go lift some weights, guys.
And come report back to us and let us know
Yes.
what you say.